For those of you who don't know me, I'm Doris Efford, known as the Chaos Calmer, because I help people to reclaim their time. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to let me know in the chat so that we can address it. And if you're watching the replay, let me know. This is interactive, even for the folks who couldn't make it live. So leave your questions in the comments and I'll make sure that they're addressed. All right, let's get to it. Today, we are chatting with Shelley McInroy, a registered therapeutic counselor and certified life coach who offers a holistic and eclectic approach. Shelley's going to chat with us about inner power. Welcome, Shelley.
Hi, Doris. How are you?
I'm very well, and I'm so excited that you could join us.
Yeah, me too. I'm really honored that you thought to invite me.
Shelley,
Yeah.
would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Okay. I live in the East Kootenays. I'm a counselor. I do virtual counseling, one-on-one, and I've been doing that for a couple of years. I've been coaching for a few years longer than that. It's where my heart lies. And mostly women clients, but there are a few male clients along the way as well. Yeah.
Shelley, what is your favorite thing about what you do?
I live and breathe from my heart. And to receive others and hold space for them and walk beside them, that's a really powerful experience for me. The compassion and care, the listening, and the collaboration that comes. You know, human beings are unique, intricate, complex, beautiful beings, and every single one is different. And making those connections is, I find it to be a beautiful experience.
I can feel that in your voice, and I can feel how much it impacts you and how important your work is to you. It's phenomenal. With all of that, would you tell us something about yourself that we would not find on your resume?
Okay. I love the smell of trees, winter and summer. I love the smell of snow, the smell of a mountain lake. And I love walking in the bush. I love to play Scrabble.
Wonderful. Now, earlier you mentioned that you were from the Kootenays.
Yes.
For those of you who are joining us from other areas, that's part of the eastern side of British Columbia, Canada.
The southeast corner of British Columbia. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I've been through that area. It is fabulous.
It is. I'm so lucky to live, so close to the mountains. They're so spectacular, especially right now at this time of year.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you ski or what? I know you enjoy the outdoors. What do you enjoy doing in the outdoors?
Um, you know, I like to cross country ski. I used to downhill ski, then I loved that too. I grew up on, skis. Um, but I love just being outside in the stillness. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I can be making a snowman or chasing around some grandchildren or going for a walk, whatever it is.
Now, there's a lot of stigma or opinions about counseling. For the
Yeah.
audience, if you guys could drop some things that you've heard about who or what type of person needs counseling in the comments, I would love to discuss this with Shelley a little bit. Now, Shelley, while everyone is putting in the rhetoric that they've heard, who do you think would benefit from counseling?
Almost anyone, well, almost every single person that you meet in your life sometimes hits a bump in the road. And, we all carry with us patterns of behaviors and habits and beliefs that sometimes get in our way. And, the people that we come from, our parents, our family, our culture, society, when we're always meeting expectations, and sometimes there's a lot of pressure. Sometimes we just need some honest support, someone to walk alongside us and to help us, get through the dark patch and figure out which way to go forward. It's never about advice, it's about finding the client's best self efficacy.
And it actually touches a bit on what Joyce was saying in here too about what she's heard. I'm not crazy, so I don't need counseling. You must
Yeah.
have heard something about that before.
Yes. And that's the stigma, isn't it? That we still have that very distorted idea about what counseling is about.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate.
Sometimes we just need some support.
Absolutely. And like you said, almost every single person on this planet could use a little extra support sometime, and that counseling might be just exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Um, Now, you are a counselor and a coach.
Yes.
Can you tell me where the two might be important? Like, what's the difference?
Counseling traditionally spends more time in the past. Counseling may be addressing trauma. It may be addressing, it's addressing issues of the past, and it allows more delving into the past. And generally, coaching is more forward focused. So then, if you are working with clients who, work through their past and, come to those realizations of self discovery and develop self awareness and make those transformational changes in their lives, then all of a sudden they're ready for a more forward approach. And sometimes that's how they arrive. Sometimes they're ready to go forward. So
Mhm.
coaching if you're a counselor, you can also coach. But if you're a coach, it's not recommended you dig into your client's past, because coaching is more about the forward focus. You can touch on the past, but you don't want to stay there.
Right. So you can
Coaching.
handle the full spectrum of of taking them through dealing with their trauma and finding solutions or whatever the past has imprinted upon them that they might need to deal with, and then
Yes.
moving into the future and continuing on, especially
Mhm.
having the specialty of taking the separate coaching certification. um, you've got that extra knowledge and that extra expertise.
Yes. But I just want to say that not every client is going to be delving into trauma.
Yeah.
And I am not a trauma counselor. I am a trauma informed. That means I understand, you know, the importance of safety and security and attunement and helping the client develop those places of trust that they need to arrive in as they work forward. So, in other words, You meet the client where they are. You do not have your own agenda. You meet the client where they are.
Absolutely. All right, let's move into the moon. Oh, another one that Joyce has heard is I don't like being told what to do. Um, Now, in coaching and counseling, do you think that that's something that ever happens?
You're never, ever supposed to tell a client what to do in either of those fields. You don't tell them what to do. They have to decide. And even if you, in your heart of hearts, go, oh no, they're going to do that, and you believe in your heart of hearts it's the worst possible thing they could do, it's not your choice. It's never your choice. It is the counselor's job and the coach's job to walk beside that client in their journey.
Absolutely. And I heard somewhere, which really resonated with me, was who are we to decide what that person's journey is supposed to look like?
Yeah. And if we tell someone what they're supposed to be doing, we are removing their self efficacy. They have to arrive in those places of, self discovery of what works, what works for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah. So with all of that, now you can see why I love Shelley and how much wisdom that she has to impart to us, and how I'm so happy that she's here to help us with that. We're going to move on to with the actual wolf moon, which is January's full moon, and today is the full moon. So wolf moon has traditionally had various meanings in different cultures. The one that I wanted to focus on today was inner power. So, Shelley, how would you define inner? Actually, while you define what inner power is, I'd love for the audience to let us know what it means to them. The same phrase can have so many meanings, and all of them being correct. So, while the audience is letting me know in the comments what they feel inner power is, I'll let you define it for yourself.
Okay. Inner power, it's that thing that makes you tick. It's that feeling inside yourself that when you're in that space, you're blooming and you are there's something moving inside you that says, yes, I'm here. I can do this. It's the resilience and the confidence and the strength and the ability to know that you can move through these challenges, that self-belief. It's that place where you know that you have agency over how you're going to go forward, how you're going to manage those thoughts, those feelings, those behaviors. I'm just like, did I forget? No, I think that's probably enough. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. All of those things are definitely inner power. It's what is inside of you that gives you that the special piece of you and how you can control your own life for sure. Um, I see Joyce here says the strength to be truly me, and doesn't that just sum it up?
Yeah,
Absolutely. So
yeah.
so now that we've defined what it is for us, what do you think is the importance of discovering your inner power?
The importance of it is that once you have arrived at who you truly are and the authenticity of who you really are, then you can access that inner power to make the choices in your life that are going to fill you, are going to, uh, it's, how can I say it? It enables you to get through the tough spots. right? To make the decisions instead of being paralyzed by what's in front of you, to have the
Absolutely.
strength and the raw resilience and the ability to step back and examine what's happening and, you know, access that inner piece of yourself that says, okay, what are we going to do to go forward? What's the best place of being within me right now that I can move forward?
Absolutely. And I have to say, at least for me, um, but a lot of times I don't always access my inner power in the moment, but
No.
it's afterward when I, regroup and find that piece, find that little bit that I needed so that I can recover from it.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And that's about sometimes, you know, the stepping back, the recognition of what you have just experienced, um, the examination of your own responses and where those are coming from. Sometimes it involves reaching out to others in your network, as I've sometimes done with you, Doris, and others in our group over the years with colleagues.
Yeah,
And so having a network of support is also a really important piece. We are not the Lone Ranger. We are meant to be in connection with each other, with, you know, with the world out there. And the world out there is not this, you and me on this screen, and others who are like delving into Facebook and all of those things. We are a part of the world outside. And yeah, staying in
absolutely.
connection with that.
You're kind of leading me into my next question, which is what are some common barriers that people face when they're trying to connect with their inner power? And how might they overcome them? For everyone watching, take a moment to think about that and let me know what barriers you might have run into. So, some barriers and how people might overcome them.
Um, wow. I think that I could actually speak that way or speak to that situation from my own experience. You know, just like I was saying before, you know, we all come from a set of experiences and societal expectations, and you know, we respond over our lives to the way we've been treated, and sometimes we internalize all of that, and we come up with some unhealthy habits and behaviors and beliefs about ourselves. We could, and we could also be suffering, you know, as a result. We could be suffering from anxiety or an unresolved trauma or experience. And we can also um, have a set of negative self beliefs. And if we do, those things will get in the way of us believing in ourselves and believing we can dig in there. Or maybe there's fear. They don't want to feel those feelings. They don't want to feel those feelings. So there's a fear of delving into all of that. And, you know, so many of us were raised in that atmosphere of packing away our feelings. You know, the younger generations are better at expressing emotions and accessing them. So we are progressing in some areas as a human race, but I think we still carry some of those stigmas and ideas and beliefs that come from the Victorian era.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember as a little girl, and I don't think that I was alone in that whole big girls don't cry, so don't have feelings, big girls
Yes,
don't cry. And
that's
I
right.
think for men, it was even worse because for them it was, or for boys, because for them, they were allowed to be happy or angry. There was
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah. There was nothing else. And we still see that in, the older generations still struggle to, access those feelings and express them because we've been so deeply entrenched, systemically, not just within family and culture, but the whole system is about suck it up, have that stiff upper lip. And
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
and so if someone is facing those barriers and they can't seem to find their inner power and they're still struggling, is that something that they could bring to us? Like, again, the stigma of you have to be crazy to go and seek mental help. What if it's just, you know what, I can't seem to find myself right now, or this is really bothering me and I can't seem to get past it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That is what it's about. That
Beautiful.
is what it's about. And we compare ourselves to others. We get into perfectionism ideas, that habits that work for us when we're young, when we're children, whatever it is. The people pleasing and the failing to recognize our own internal self worth, our failure to access the things that we deserve, you know. And I shouldn't call those words failure. They're habits. They're habits that we get into and we forget along the way.
Yeah.
We, for- we forget ourselves. And then all of a sudden, we discover we're in the middle of a challenging situation.
Yeah,
And
or for some of us, we were never taught. It's not even that we forget, it's that we never learned in the first place. So this is new, right? Or we
that's
were
right.
never allowed.
That's right. And that's absolutely it. I'm so glad you're opening all these pages for me because yeah, I think that over my life, one of the biggest ones was yeah, discovering what behaviors I was generating from within that were causing me not to have self respect and causing others not to treat me with respect. And then to be so surprised. So, as a young person, one of those big things, if I allow people to treat me a certain way,
And that's
then
huge.
and then I internalize it because I come to believe it, getting out of that habit of internalizing and recognizing our own self worth.
Absolutely. We train people how they're going to treat us and what we will and will not allow. And if you don't set those boundaries for your own benefit, those just continue to get deeper and deeper, right? And those people don't know any different because we've allowed it the entire time. They have no idea it's bothering you.
Yeah. And you might become good at doing it for a while, and then something will happen, and you'll kind of slip off and forget. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened there? I
Mhm.
allowed that thing to get in my way.
So, for everyone watching, I'm going to shift this a little bit, and I want you to take a moment to think about a time when you felt truly powerful. What was happening and what made you feel that way? Please share in the comments if you're comfortable. Now, Shelley, do you have a moment that you could share from your own life, or maybe even a client's, when the person had to tap into their inner power? What did they learn from that experience?
It is it's about self-efficacy. When you land in that place and what you're doing, you're accessing those pieces of yourself that make the choices. Unfortunately, that's often when I have to say goodbye to my clients. They're there. They're full. Their hearts are full. They have, direction. They are in that place of moving forward and not needing that support anymore.
Isn't that funny that we work to get rid of our clients? We work to make them so that they don't need us anymore. It's kind of like
Yeah,
parenting, isn't it?
yeah, and it's there's a little bit of sadness there for sure, because you do become um, somewhat invested professionally, as even though we're working to keep that objectivity and distance. There's also some investment when you see that person blooming and blossoming, and it's so exciting.
And like I said, it's kind of like parenting where, you want your children to be independent and you want them to be able to make these decisions on their own and you want them to be able to do their own thing and you care about them so much. It's the same with a client. I mean, perhaps we're not quite as invested as we are with our own children, but we want them to have this success and we're always there for them and on their side. And we work ourselves out of business.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I have a friend who's an acupuncturist and also a Chinese medicine practitioner. Lovely, lovely woman. And she said, um, the best part of the business is working to help people find ways to be well. The worst part of the business is once you do that, they leave you behind.
Yeah.
I don't need you anymore. And of course, that's what we're doing too. It's just a different level.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's always, the mind, the body, the heart. There's the many pieces of ourselves that all work together. And so
Yeah.
having physical and emotional and mental and spiritual wellness, they're all pieces of it, pieces of the puzzle that fit together.
So, with that in mind, what role, if any, does self compassion play in accessing and maintaining your inner power?
Huge, huge. Because we're humans, we're not robots. We make mistakes, and we never intentionally say the wrong thing or make the wrong
Um,
choice. But if um, we wouldn't be living at all if we were like perfect beings. Accessing and maintaining your inner power, I think that is about finding your stillness. And I'm not talking about a physical stillness, it can be, but it's that inner place that when you drop in to your soul, into yourself, into that thing that drives you. Maybe you find it when you're on snowshoes, um, or on cross country skis, or just out walking, or maybe you find it when you find a quiet place that feels safe, peaceful. And, Glennon Doyle found her inner power meditating in her clothes closet. So, she found that clarity. So when we take the time to be still and you can, maybe if it's a stillness, a physical stillness that you need to access it, you can just sit, find that quiet space, make sure that you're comfortable, close your eyes, breathe and focus on your breath slowly. Maybe you want to affirm within yourself, this is part of the self-compassion, part of the self-love, part of self-care. I can do this. I am strong. I believe in myself. Whatever that piece is that needs nurturing, speak to it. And as you fall into that place within yourself, you want to feel it. You want to feel it and settle into it and allow it to bloom. Manifest that wonderful feeling, because as you speak to your inner being, you are also speaking to your soul. You are taking care of you. You're reminding yourself that you are everything you need to be to get through this. And it's also, that's a form of mindfulness, to push all those outer thoughts aside as you enter that space and remember who you are.
That's beautiful, and definitely something that we can use to drop into that space for sure. For anyone that wants that bit, let me know, and I can record that piece separately and have it available for you as with Shelley tagged in it for sure, because that is a phenomenal way to connect. Absolutely. So if anyone, for everyone, if you could give your inner power a symbol or image, what would it be? Describe it in the comments if you can. While some of our guests are doing that, Shelley, how can reconnecting with our inner power help us during difficult transitions or emotional challenges?
Well, yeah, it's about getting through the tough spots, isn't it? And, if anyone had told us when we were children how many tough spots we were going to be in over our lives, it doesn't matter who we are, whether we're like members of the wealthy or whether we're, struggling in some art studio, barely paying the rent, whatever it is, we've all been there. We all have issues that we face. And when we can access the inner power, we can manifest the strength. We can visualize what we need to do. We can make that heart of our own bloom and blossom and help us. I don't know, I'm speaking pretty abstractly, but I think it's giving us the strength, the resilience, the courage to get through the dark. Because, we all have our demons and dragons along the way. Sometimes they happen on the outside, sometimes they happen on the inside.
Yeah, there is no road that doesn't have any rough spots, are there?
That's right. And even if we see someone else and say, oh yeah, they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, trust me, it's a tarnished spoon. It always is. When we're accessing that inner power, and that's a kind of a form of mindfulness. If you get into a practice of doing that regularly, it can be really helpful. And sometimes that's all we've got is we can't always just phone the counselor or phone our best friend. It might be the middle of the night. What do we need to do?
If anyone has any questions for Shelley, drop them in the comments. If we get to them, then that's fabulous. If we don't, we will get to them afterward for sure. Um, what is the best way people can connect with you, Shelley?
Um, I think you can email me. It's Shelley dot, that's SHELLEY dot chosenpathways at gmail.com. You can also find me on Psychology Today, and you can reach me through Psychology Today. Yeah, that's the easiest way to reach me. And when you go to Psychology Today, my phone number is there. And the reason that I'm not telling it to you is because I suddenly forget it. It's not a number I use.
You don't call yourself very often.
No, I don't. So that's a number that's provided by Psychology Today. So um, yeah, and
Excellent.
it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and I hope I didn't just burble and babble in your absence.
No, no, of course not. So while I'm wrapping up with Shelley here, if no one has any extra questions, we do want to know what your takeaway is from this conversation. So make sure you leave it in the comments, or if you want, you can make your own post and tag us in that so that we can celebrate it with you. Um, Thank you so much, Shelley. Whenever we speak, you always leave me feeling better than I was before, and I appreciate you being here today.
And
So, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
you know what, Doris? I feel exactly the same way. It's a beautiful connection, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for um, the people that have we have worked with over the years together, and um, Joyce too, and um, some of our other wonderful people. I'm not allowed to. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention them. So, uh,
You That's
pardon?
wonderful. Yes, absolutely. And you can, because Joyce and Sarah and Tiffany have all been a huge part of our uh, raising
Yeah,
as we grow in our roles and as we become better coaches. We've all been working very hard together. And so, yes, thank you to everyone, but especially you today, Shelley, because that was so insightful. Um, And with all of those coaches, we have called ourselves the Sisterhood of Impact. And we are having an event coming up. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't have a firm time or anything yet, but it will be in the beginning of February. So keep your eyes peeled to all of our social medias, and we will make sure that you get the information. Thanks again, Shelley. And for everyone else, of all the things that you could be doing, you chose to hang out with us. And for that, I am so grateful. Always remember that you matter. So please take care. See you next time.